Hi, it's Ebonique again. I came back to follow up finally with Mulata Cartagenea by Enrique Grau. It's been a journey for me to write this, or it's been a journey for me to blog on this and continue to research it, because to me there's so much there. And I'm not exactly an art historian. I took one art writing class at Parsons School of Design. So I am not equipped to talk, but I feel like that's what my app is trying to do, is like trying to make it so that everyone has room to feel comfortable with the idea of art and talking about art and talking about how it empowers them, and to take a deeper look into what fascinates them. So it's still one of my favorite pieces, and now I'm starting to learn why it's my favorite piece, because it's uncovering the history of Afro-Latinas in this piece. There's so much depth there, and I was surprised. He took so much concern with, at least to me, crafting this woman's identity. A little background on me: I am Afro-Latina, although I don't speak any Spanish, but my family's from Costa Rica, as I formally learned how that's initially how I was pronouncing it at my home, and then my Catholic school teachers beat it out of me so I could talk like a traditional American and even refer to the country inappropriately in an American way. But anyway, regardless, the term itself, mulata, is a derogatory term, but it was frequently used in the past as a way to classify a mixed-race woman of both African and European ancestry. I wanted to go deep on what mulatto was and the history of it, but I felt like the research, or even just the term mulata, I couldn't find many African scholars who talked about it, and I don't trust European scholars to talk about terminology because they often warp it within their perspective of racism, even to this day. So I didn't feel comfortable continuing to go in depth on the word mulata. And maybe if you have some comments on the word mulata and mulatto and you'd like to share them, please share. So this painting is of a mixed race woman who's holding a Spanish mojito in one hand, and her elbow is resting comfortably upon a watermelon. The painting may be hinting upon her background with that placement, as the watermelon is a fruit derived from Africa, and the Spanish mojito is a traditional water jug of Spain. It almost seems as though she's leaning upon her African origins, but reaching to grasp her Spanish background as well. And on her lap appears to be firebush flowers, and behind her seems to be Phragmipedium beside orchids. I will try to put something there that actually writes it down, because I know I probably butchered the pronunciation. I viewed several flowers native to Colombia, and it seemed like those two types of flowers appeared most similar to the painting. And if you are a flower buff, and I did not identify these flowers correctly, please feel free to comment or on this video, or even tag me on Twitter at Ellis-Boyd. If it is a firebush on the lap, I can only dare to imagine the implications of that. Currently, the area of Cartagena, Colombia, is a known area of sex trafficking and prostitution. It's likely that that area has had a long history of these types of activities. In 1934, however, 6 years prior to this painting, Colombian government officials created the Prophylactic Institute to stop the spread of STDs. The government said that they decreased the amount of syphilitics from 62% in 1934 to 21.8 in 1939, according to a scholar at the National University of Columbia, Diana Obregon. Before instituting these new policies, STDs were seen as violating a moral order, but these new policies allowed more people to get treatment and prevent the spread of the disease in Colombia. So although many STDs were more under control in Colombia at the time of this painting, there were still likely individuals who may have had the disease. These orchids, if they are the Phragmidium basae, weren't discovered by Western scholars until 1981. However, it is a native flower to Colombia and could have been seen by Grau if he traveled in a rainforest next to a mountain stream. The rareness of the orchids to not just Colombia, but also to the rest of the world, could be seen as how we're supposed to view the woman, and that's how I do see her. Despite the firebush in her lap and the implications of what that might mean during the time of, growing STDs in that country, and I'm assuming the euphemism is, putting the firebush on her lap is a euphemism for something else, and how seductively she's posed is a euphemism for possibly her career choice at the time. And the possible struggles between the identities with her, her elbow firmly gripped on the watermelon and her hand reaching out to the Spanish mojito. Despite all of that possibly going on, she is still a rare orchid that can only be viewed after a trek up a mountain. And that's how I'd like to view this woman. And that's how I see her. And she's a beauty that's capable of only being seen if you're truly capable to reach that mountain. And although there's other things that might be distracting from her beauty, such as the play with her identity and the firebush, if you're willing to look beyond all those things and look right in the background of where she truly is coming from, she is truly an orchid. And I love this piece. I love this more than when this was painted prior to Grau coming to America, and I felt like when he came to America, I just didn't like his new style. Although his new style is why he's popular and like why he's seen as who he is today, I really truly love this. And like supposedly what was happening in American art scenes at this time was they were trying to get away from stuff like this, like very over your face symbolism means this, symbolism means this. It was supposed to be like at the time beyond symbolism, beyond basic things like that. And I don't know, it was too artsy for me, like too above my head. But this piece was just right on point for me, right on point with what I like, because it was so, it is obvious, but at the same time you have to sort of research it if you're not in the know. And so it gives me a, like, initially when I saw this piece, it was like, oh, I totally want this. I want this in my bedroom. I want to see this when I'm trying to get in the mood and trying to feel confident about myself and trying to feel seductive and empowered. And because I think she sort of looks similar to me, so that might be a little bit of a thing too. I think I see her sort of similar to me. But then as I dug deeper into it, I saw so much more in it. There was so much more depth to just the initial like of this sort of narcissist like my desire to find something like me. It had more depth to it, and talked about the struggle of probably Black women at that time period in Latin America with the you know, with prostitution being a job that many women felt like that was the best job that they could take on at that time, and there's just so much there. And not that I'm ready to talk about what sex work is, even though I run a sex work advocacy organization. I'm still not ready for that discussion. There's still so much to learn, I think. But anyway, basically, I just read my blog for people who just want to hear me talk about it. So you can read my blog and you can comment and help me figure out what to make right about next month, and hopefully post another video every month. I'm trying. But thank you guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe.